Good evening, ladies and gents. Welcome to the Toon Review on what is a very blustery night across the UK. So I hope everybody is staying nice and warm and safe tonight, as the winds have got to get up, of course, very strongly by the time we finish this show into the night. So stay safe, everybody. But tonight, well, what the hell is going on at our football club? Since we were last live, it seems like crazy rumours regarding Trippier, regarding Callum Wilson, Joe Linton, anybody else who wants to leave the club. It's all taken a bit of a funny spiral. Tonight we're going to try and even that out with some of the names that have been linked to coming into the club. But again, I must state before we go ahead, this isn't anybody that we're saying is definitely coming into Newcastle United. These are media-linked players, and as usual, we're having a look at them to see what they would bring to Newcastle United squad should they sign in the future. Now, we are proud on this channel to say that we just go off what the club tell us. If there's anything official from the club, that is what we take as gospel. Particularly amongst transfer windows and things like that, and nothing else. It's as simple as that, because there's a lot of, shall we say, people who enjoy talking about barbecues, etc., spreading some absolute rot bull at the minute. So, let's just wait until the club decide who's staying and who's not. But we can talk about it. That's the thing. But we're not saying anything is 100% definite. But please do like the show if you do enjoy what's coming up. And of course, if you're new and you like what you see, click the bottom right-hand corner on the logo, click subscribe, and come and be part of this incredible community right here on the Toon Review. You can become a member, and we have some fantastic member giveaways coming up in the next couple of weeks. Thanks to Spike Milligan again. I received a box load of stuff to give away. Thanks to Davey Brewis as well, who sent a lovely photo as well for a giveaway. So thank you, guys. It's incredible the generosity in this community that we have on this channel to provide, prizes for members and things like that. So thank you so much. So hit that join button just underneath the three of us. And of course, if you want to donate to the channel, hit that $sign at the bottom of the live comments, which will take you through to a payment method. And of course, that will guarantee to get your comment read straight out on the channel. As usual, we put it to good use, guys. It's really, really appreciated. Case Ball, thank you for sending one straight in there. A super chat, thank you. Evening, lads. Desire Doue, the new Hatton Ben Arthur. Well, I wonder if he's coming up tonight. We shall see. Javier Manquillo has officially signed for Celta Vigo. He is now joined up with Rafa Benitez. So we do wish Javier all the very, very best and thank him for what he's done at Newcastle United. Put his head down, worked very hard, and gave what he had. So we thank Manquillo for that, and we wish him well for the rest of his career. It is a permanent move. So he has now off the books at Newcastle United. The Lasses, unfortunately, lost 2-1 today in the league. It's a bit of a bitter pill to swallow for the women's team as they chase promotion, losing 2-1 at home to Nottingham Forest today. I don't know whether you caught that on NUFC TV or the YouTube channel. Not a particularly great performance, but given the way they've played this season, they're allowed the odd bad game here and there. Cynical Jim celebrating membership for 11 months. It seems to me these players are happy to move. Do you think there's a little disharmony in the squad? We've had that question before, and Alex, you've raised an eyebrow there. What's your take on it?
No. I think there's context. Context needs to be provided to each situation. Trippier's 33, Bayern Munich. Well, although not guaranteed silverware with the way Leverkusen are performing this year, but you would imagine he may win a trophy if he goes there. So that's that specific situation. 18 months left on a contract of a 33-year-old. You've then got Callum Wilson, the rumours around him with his age, with his injury record. So those make sense. And then the other rumours around selling a big asset for FFP. They're all kind of separate things. Mm-hmm. And there's context for each. I don't think it's just a case of there's disharmony, and I don't think so personally.
I mean, listen, I've read a lot of people unhappy about what Darren Eales had to say. Billy, I watched you last night, gallivanting again on an American channel last night, representing the Toon Review. So thank you very much for doing that. It was a good show, actually. But I think you were asked a question regarding Darren Eales' comment about how everyone has a price, etc. And was that necessarily a bad thing? But you don't really think that?
No, it's natural in football. You know, to progress your squads, players move in, players move out. It's as simple as that. No one keeps the same players forever. It's as simple, straightforward as that. Even Manchester City have to sell players to keep them within the laws. You think of Cole Palmer, for instance, and people like that, and Zinchenko and Jesus. So it's nothing out of the ordinary for me. It's just, I think it's just Doue just resetting people's minds that, you know, in the football business, players go, players come. It's as simple as that.
Now we are getting a lot of people trying to put two and two together, saying about Trippier's private life. Is it that he wants to get out the country just to get away from it all? Is he want to have a break, etc.? Look, we don't know any of that garbage, right? And we don't want to. So we're talking about football here, and on footballing grounds. Would it be a good move for Kieran Trippier? I mean, someone's just asked there in the chat, Alex. Would you be happy to take 20 million for Trippier? And I think we have to say yes, don't we? For a 33-year-old fullback, 20 million. You know, we're making a profit, and the wages are available for someone else.
It's not ideal, but 20 million and the wages off for a 33-year-old. It's hard to say no. Very hard to say no. You know, we'd have to guarantee that he's going to stay here for another 18 months and continue being really, really good. Obviously, I know he's had a little spell with some mistakes in it in recent weeks, but well, it's extending beyond a few weeks at this point. But he's been amazing for us. But 20-ish mil, I'd say minimum. You know, there's people in the chat saying 25. Yeah, the rumored numbers are 20 to 25. I think anything less than that, I don't think we should take it. I think we need to be firm, set a price, and say no. If you're fair with us, because he's a world-class player, you need to give us decent money for him. You know, he starts for his country. He's got a wealth of experience. He's been involved in a Champions League final. He's scored in a World Cup semi-final. He's got the highest chance creation in the Premier League. He's a good player. He's a captain. He's a leader. You have to put some cheese down on the table. There's not a chance they offer. I'd be gutted if we accept anything less than 20. I'd be very upset.
And I think that's the thing, isn't it, Billy? I think we can accept it if the deal is right for the club, or what we as fans think is right for the club. I mean, you know, we might think one thing's right for the club, and the owners think very, very different, because the owners, you know, they may have other plans and they may have other thoughts on what they want to do moving forward. And again, we know with owners like this and who've made it in the business world, they haven't made it there through being you know, gentle and easy going. They've made it because they have made cutthroat decisions in the past. They've made very big decisions to, you know, improve their finances. You know, Amanda's not stupid. You know, she's a very stern businesswoman, and she hasn't made where she is by being soft and take. You know, she has done it by being forceful and, you know, like I say, cutthroat, because they need to be in that world. And it's the same in the footballing world. Although the fans love these players, Billy, sometimes we have to say, right, what is best for Newcastle United, not the player.
But that does come into it for me. I think the fact it's Bayern Munich, one of the European supergiants, coming in for him, it's hard to kind of refuse Kieran Trippier that chance to go to play for them if the money is in any way the right money for us. You know, 20 million plus. I don't think we stand in his way. I don't think we can. I don't think it's fair to stand in his way when it looks like he wants to go. Do you want a disgruntled player around your dressing room? Probably not. Even though it's Kieran Trippier, the ultimate professional. You know, I think fair's fair. He's done a great job for us. I think you allow him the chance to go and do what he's got to do in the Bundesliga. Because one thing Kieran Trippier hasn't got a lot of his medals in his kind of in his cabinet and.
Apart from the Spanish league, but yeah,
that's one medal.
Yeah, but that's what Billy's saying. You know, for a player of his caliber, he probably should have won a lot more, given, you know, and he has an opportunity, I guess, at Bayern to do that. However, I think Craig Hope again is wording his reports the way he words things, because he also came out with the fact that Kieran Trippier would come back early from New York from his holiday, when he hasn't come back early at all. Newcastle are back in training on Monday. So he'd come back because Newcastle, and he put a report out saying it was because he wanted to tie up the move to Bayern Munich. And then Craig Hope is then coming out with another statement saying, I didn't mean it in the last, you know, the context of coming home just to go to Bayern. Of course, Newcastle are back in training. So we've got to be careful, Alex, with what we read in the media, because ultimately, I don't think anybody knows what is going on by Kieran Trippier, Newcastle United, and of course, Bayern Munich.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many conflicting reports at the moment between loans, permanent transfers, upwards of somewhere between 10 and 25 million. You've got personal reasons as a reason. You've got to win trophies, disgruntled, also that he doesn't want to go, also that the club said he's not for sale. And these are all from journalists that all speak to each other and all friends. They've all got conflicting reports, all of them. That, you know, there's so many different versions of this story. And yeah, maybe are they getting this from different sources? Are they just trying to generate clicks? Who knows? But there's far too much noise for us to know as fans what the truth is on this one. I think we're just going to have to sit tight because there's just so much going on. Sometimes you can put two and two together and it makes a bit of sense logically, but with this, there's just too much noise. We're just going to have to wait.
Garant Thomas, thank you for your super chat. He says, I will just wait and see what's being done on the 1st of February. You've got to trust in the ownership. Absolutely. Brandon says, is Ashby a flop buy? 7 million for him, I think it was. Well, you know, I said that things weren't going well for Ashby at Swansea, and then he puts in a world of a performance yesterday for them. So, you know, we'll see what happens with Ashby. I mean, whether he's part of the future or not, we just have to wait and see. Chrissy says, all we need is loans, and whoever goes, think on the summer transfer window, and we will be adding quality. Paul, Billy, and Alex, we are the rich club, so have no fear. The Saudis are here. P.S. Love the show. Thank you very much, Chrissy. I've just seen a comment there from Tristan saying that I'm wrong, that Trippier was spotted in Munich this week. Where the hell have you got that from? I mean,
I've not seen that yet.
I've not seen that in a million years. The Trippier was in New York because Anthony Gordon was also in New York as well, and he's just been putting some pictures on social media about his trip to New York as well. There was no way in hell, I'm telling you now, Trippier was in Munich. Not a chance. So you think he's going to go to Munich and speak to Munich before Newcastle have even received any conversation? That's very wrong, and Trippier certainly wouldn't do that. He's not the type of player to do that. And I think the way Bayern have conducted their business in the past, they're not a team that would do that either. So I think that's a load of garbage, Tristan. And that's what I mean. Putting things like that in people's heads is wrong, man, when it's just not true. George says, Stato, I think you're right about journalists. All media websites are set up to generate clicks to make money. Crowstail says, 400 people watching TalkSport phone in on YouTube. Yet the Toon Review are getting 990 viewers. Well done on beating a £100 million empire. Well, thank you very much, because, well, we talk more sense than them. So thank you, Crowstail, for that. Much appreciated. Barry the Bee says, I actually saw Trippier in Munich. Never been to Germany, but I seen him. Yeah, absolutely. Julie J says it was in the Jamaican Observer. Oh, that's where it was. I mean, Alex, you're hot on Jamaican media outlets. I would have thought you'd have picked that up.
No, is the answer to that.
Yes, exactly. So let's have a look at the first player that we're going to discuss tonight. Over 1,000 watching already, 15 minutes in. Thank you so much, guys. If you are new, please click bottom right-hand corner, click subscribe, and don't forget to hit the like button, guys. We need to keep growing this channel. It goes a bit stale when we don't have games. As everybody knows, you know, this is my business, and I've got to try and make a living. So we've got to get going again. Tom Lynch says, I saw Trippier in German Doner Kebab on Newgate Street. A definite sign. Well, I mean, look, I wouldn't be surprised if someone saw him buying sausages in a supermarket, German sausages, and linked and try and put two together there.
Even more if they said him munching on them.
Exactly, Billy. Peter says Trippier was in Germany to meet up with Elvis. Exactly. I mean, it's crazy. Right, first player is, of course, Desire Doue. Now, this guy, Alex, is particularly exciting to you, I believe.
I'm really, really, really excited. I'm so excited to do this one.
Is that because he's been classed as the new St. Maximan by any chance, Alex?
I mean, there's comparisons to other players. It doesn't have to be him. There's comparisons to Ben Arfa and stuff.
You know, yes, I just thought I'd mention Maxi, but I'd probably go with, Hatton Ben Arfa sounds better to me because Hatton Ben Arfa had a finishing product. But we'll not go into that, Alex. I mean, take it away on Doue.
So we've done him before on, I think, at least one transfer show, possibly twice. However, it was a while ago, and it was before he's had this kind of breakout season. So I know Billy remembers him. We've definitely done him before. So now he's had more minutes this season, and he's just outrageous. He's not had loads of minutes. Again, it's only 584 minutes in League 1 with 201 minutes in the Europa League. But whenever you see this kid play, so I recorded a game of them against Lyon. So, well, this Stade Rennais, by the way, in December. So that's the only game I've seen a full 90 of with him. And then obviously there's clips too. So more research is needed. However, dear Lord, this kid is frighteningly talented. It's absurd. If anybody's watched him, it's just bonkers. It's another one of these players where on every single website they try to list his preferred foot and they just put both. You know, any player, when you go and try and look up data, if they listed foot is both, then you know they're technically very, very good. So this season, his minutes have been sparing. Again, he's still only 18 years old. It's fine. His position is kind of, I mean, some people are saying he's a midfielder, attacking midfielder, striker, left wing, right wing, left midfield, right midfielder. So he apparently plays everywhere, which is fine. Let's scroll down and have a look at the bits that I know everybody wants to see. So he's quite good. It is a small sample. Well, I'd say small sample size. It's actually over 1,400 minutes. So I'd say once you get over 1,000, this is a reasonable sort of statement of it's how he plays. So progressive carries 3.5 per 90 in the top 3% in Europe. This is successful take-ons is 4. So he's beating players more times than he progressively carries the ball, which is interesting. But again, the top 1% for successful take-ons. If you go and watch anything of the lad, you always talk about it's refreshing when you see a winger take on his man and beat his sort of assigned fullback. This guy beats 2. Like, they'll close him down and he'll just dink it between 2 people. He plays with absolutely no fear. He trusts in his own technique, his ability. He's also got a great reading of the game in terms of his body, where he's going to go, his next move. He reads the players, not necessarily does his own skills. Some players are very much, I'm now going to do this with the ball. He's very much, where is the opposition's sort of, where are they leaning into? And he just goes the other way. Like, he's just got such a good reading of the game for his age. It's absurd.
Well, the thing is, we always say, if we get a player up like that is greener than Antacid's loft, then he is generally somebody we should be really looking at. And for 18-year-old, that is quite good.
This is a player where if we signed him, bums off seats straight away. Everybody stands up when this kid's on the ball. Everybody, because he might beat 5. Like, he's
Alex,
ridiculous.
I just need to interrupt you. We've just had a super chat for £50 from Andy Young. Andy, that's incredible. Thank you so much. I normally don't read how much they are anymore. Just say thank you for super chatting. But obviously, with that amount, that is incredible, Andy. Thank you so much for your support, mate. That is crazy generosity. Thank you. Sorry, Alex.
I mean, we need to go through other data. I can't just keep talking about everything. Progressive passes are still really, really solid as well. I say really solid, well above average, 80th percentile, 6.35 progressive passes per 90. So the ball progression you're getting from an 18-year-old is absurd. He's also having loads of touches in the penalty area. 3.5 touches for his position is pretty high. He's receiving the ball really high up as well. His defensive metrics are really tidy. Quite often with these kinds of players, there's a bit of a drop-off here. There isn't with this kid. 2.24 tackles per 90. He's getting blocks in. He's getting an interception in per game as well, which is useful. When I went back and had a look at a few of the heat maps, he does contribute defensively down that wing, which is necessary. He's not too small either. I mean, if we go up, it doesn't actually 178. I mean, SofaScore has him as 181. So I reckon he's about 5'11-ish, but it does vary from website to website. Physicality is not too bad either. He's okay for his age. He will get stronger. Shot creating actions for teammates is through the roof as well as his shot volume. So 2.3 shots per game is great. He's just absolutely exceptional. So we'll scroll down and have a look who he compares to. So you've got, Bellingham's on the list, so that instantly raises not eyebrows, it raises kind of ears and everything. It's just ridiculous. You've got Harvey Elliott, Szoboszlai, Gravenberch on the list, so a few of the new Liverpool players. You've also got Southall is on there, Dwight McNeil, which is a funny one, but he is a good progressor of the ball. So
you know what it is, Dwight McNeil, I think is very underrated, Alex. I honestly do. Whenever I've seen Dwight McNeil play, I think he's okay. He's okay. He always profiles very well in the data. He always has. I think he'd be a better player in a better team as well. I honestly do.
Amadou Onana is a strange one for me because he's a real physical, bustling type midfielder, and the rest of those players don't seem to be that way. I mean, Lee Kang-in at PSG as well. He's a speedy winger, Jonathan Bamba. Lee Kang-in's an industrious midfielder for PSG. So, I'm not sure where the Doucouré one is. What's that in there? It
is a bit weird. I mean, this is versus midfielders. If we pop in versus wingers and attacking midfielders, you've got Golovin at Monaco, Iwobi's in there, Felipe Anderson, the guy who used to be at West Ham. He profiles very odd. I mean, you've got Elise in that list as well. So he just profiles. I mean, it's really hard to pigeonhole this guy. It's really, really difficult. Let's go and actually show you his SOFA score. We'll have a look at a few actual games. We can already see they're contracted until 2026. So current value, 15-ish million. It's the same across most sites, but again, it's just websites. It doesn't mean that's what we'd get, what we'd be able to pay for him. Although, let's click that. So he wears the 33 at the moment. So SOFA score are saying he's an attacking midfielder, despite most of his appearances that I've looked at being on the right wing, left wing, or coming on as a striker sub, effectively. So recent games. So a 2-0 victory against Nice. Let's bring this up and see how he did in this game. So it's a really, really exciting team. If anybody's bored and loves football, go watch some Stade Rennais at the moment. They've got Désiré Doué. They've also got his brother, who is a fullback, Guela Doué. Enzo Lafille, everybody's raving about at the moment. They've got Callum Wendo up front that me and Billy were very, very fond of when he was at PSG. Benjamin Beauregard's in this team. It's a really exciting young team.
Excuse me, Alex. I just need to call out Mary on her comment there because I think she's missed a word out, as in blown away. Because
possibly.
Well, actually, it's Mary. It could mean anything, but I think blown away this evening in the wind, as opposed to I'm surprised you didn't call that comment out, Billy. But never mind. Carry on.
To be fair.
Hang on a minute. So I'm pretty sure haven't they got Amina Gwidi as well, the crazy kid. Gwidi. I'm pretty sure he's on the books, and Bludovic Blas as well. They've got all the players. Martin Terrier's up front as well. They've got a really exciting squad. I really like their squad. But anyway, let's talk about who we need to. Did he come on from the bench in this game? I'm assuming he did.
No, he started.
He started. Where is he?
Yeah. He's on
lost him. There he is. Let's pull him up. So heat map. You've got quite a lot of stuff going on in the defensive third there. So 86 minutes played, not involved in it too much in terms of passing the ball. 11 out of 19. Was he making things happen? Again, it's really a case of you need to watch the game. Just seeing a comment there, Alex. We can't sign him till he's 18. Sorry, mate. He is 18, so I don't understand your comment. Anyway. How's he done? Physically, 6 out of 13 ground duels. So really, really nice physicality from the young guy in this game. 3 out of 4 completed dribbles. He got a key pass in there. So you can see what he's about. He wants to pick the ball up and he wants to progress it constantly. That is just what he does. A little bit rough around the edges, but 3 fouls, was fouled twice. So seems quite tenacious in that. He's getting involved in physical duels all the time. How else has he done in this one? So against Clement Foot, he scored a goal. So they do have Amina Gwidi. So this kid is also crazy highly rated. So I'd suggest going and watching some Stade Rennais if you get a bit bored, because they are a really exciting team. So he didn't start in this game. They've played wing backs. Where is he? Wrong team. He is there. So he came on at halftime. He scored and he dropped to 7.8. So he's basically played both wings just floated around. He's just been told to just go and make things happen, presumably. 2 crosses, 2 shots on target, shot blocked. He got his goal in the game, 3 completed dribbles, 4 out of 5 ground duels as well, and he got a free kick for his team. So I think already just with 2 games, you can see what he's about. He's very much pick the ball up and drive at everyone. He's playing for France, youth level as well, which is extremely invaluable at this point. So let's go and have a look at his transfer marked. So 12 caps for France under 19s. Again, if you're getting capped by the French youth levels, at any level, you are somebody, because the French setup at the moment is absurd. That it's just really good at every single level. 3 goals as well. So we are actually the interested club. We're on that little tab on transfer marked. So interesting to see. It doesn't necessarily mean anything. And he has been involved in the French youth setup for a long time. 17 appearances at under 17 level, which is cool.
Yeah,
15 million is been banded about by, again, like I said, every single website. They're saying he is a midfielder, attacking midfielder, second striker. He comes on as a sub for strikers. He seems to play right wing, left wing. Nobody seems to know where he's actually playing. Like, he's just young and very good technically. I don't think anybody knows where he's actually going to play yet. I think he could play anywhere. Foots, there you go. This is what I was talking about. Both footed, apparently. His player agent is Relatives, which is interesting. Contract expires. We've seen that at 2026. So he's got a few, 2.5 years left. So it's a very interesting one. And there you go. He's actually got quite a lot of footballers in his family. So there's his brother that plays with him as a fullback, and he's actually got a couple of cousins as well floating around in professional football. So a family of good level footballers, so it seems. And he's only been with the one club with the youth setup. So that is Desiree Doue, and honestly, he's absurd. Like instantly, I got him in my team.
Absolutely. Guys, incidentally, just before we get Billy's thoughts on him, I've just put a poll up on the top of the chat there. If we are to lose a player in January, who would you rather it be? You've got 3 options. You've got Trippier, Lascelles, and Wilson. So we'll leave that up for a while, and then we'll go back to it towards the end of the show and see what people have voted. So if we were to lose one of those players, who would you prefer it to be? Lascelles, Trippier, or Wilson? I'm just interested to find out. So that'll be interesting. Billy, Desiree Doue, no brainer, really, is it?
Well, he's one of those players that we've had from France before. Traditional players that get people off the seats and cheering and does things, amazing trickery and things like that. So yeah, it's definitely no brainer, isn't it?
Yeah. PL Richards put, we don't want a squad of kids. Balance is needed. Yeah, but of course balance is needed. But I think, with a blend of youth and experience, that for me is where we need to be, Alex. We can't have, a team of too old, and we can't have a team too young. We have to find that balance.
Yeah, apologies, PL Rich, but I completely disagree with you in your comment, because we've got older players in forward positions. So we need to recruit young to a point to get that balance. It's a bit old at the moment. Miggy's 29, Murphy's 28, Wilson's 31. There's 3 players there that are not in the younger profile. They're experienced. They've played in the Champions League with us. They've been around for a long time. Barnes is 26, so he's not a youth product. He's not really young. So I even Isak's 24 now. He's not a young kid. So I don't see the issue with buying an 18-year-old winger. I agree. We don't want all of them to be 18, but they're not. So it should be fine.
Billy, just before we move on to the next player, I think what we do need to talk about is the Callum Wilson one, because that came from absolutely nowhere with Atletico Madrid. Now, it's taken a bit of a turn, obviously, since the original rumor came out that they're going to turn to Moise Kean at Juventus. But I was really surprised, because I thought, well, with his injury record, I mean, fair enough, taking him on loan isn't exactly a massive risk. But where would you, if you were in charge at Newcastle and Madrid did come in with an offer, would you consider it?
Yes, 100%. If the price was right, and that'd be the only reason for me. You'd have to make financial sense to us. So again,
so it wouldn't be a loan deal for you. A loan deal would be off the cards.
I don't see the point in a loan deal, because then we're left with one striker. would have to go and find a replacement then to kind of sell him and get some money and again increase our FFP and give us some money to play with in this window. And maybe I'd think about it because I mean it suit Atletico Madrid and it suit Callum Wilson because he's not going to be the first choice striker at Atletico. They've got Morata, they've got Griezmann.
Yeah.
So you know, to come in and play once every 3 or 4 weeks or 2 weeks or whatever, or come off the bench would probably suit him. Warmer weather as well, that would probably suit him as well. So again, I think it's doing right by the player. So yeah, I'd be definitely
interested,
agreeable to that if that happened.
Len Simmons, thank you for your super chat, buddy. He says everyone raves about how we are the richest club, but if we can't spend our money, how does it help us? Well, I mean, you know, we're talking a few years down the line, it'll start helping us. Adnan says sell Wilson, bring in Toney. I don't particularly want Ivan Toney. I think he's a rather big. You know, you look at the comments he made yesterday, a little bit big-headed for me. You know, it was the media response to it was just unreal. I mean, it's as if somebody's literally come back from the dead. And Brentford playing the Undertaker's tune from the wrestler. I don't get it all. You know, the flag that Tonali's taken, and then Toney's coming back like some sort of hero. Not for me. I think
it is worth. By the way, I would like to throw Oliver Holt under the bus metaphorically.
Please do.
For his big article. For anybody who's heard our talks about Oliver Holt before, we're not a particularly big fan of him. I think he's a very poor journalist. Yeah. And he's done an article about Toney and he's back, and it was all very nice, very pally. Whereas obviously when Tonali got all that situation around Tonali, he was very, very rude about it all, and he was the tweets were not nice. So he's a massive, massive hypocrite, and he's a poor journalist. And just that, it really upset me with the way. So obviously it's not Toney's fault, but it was just weird. The contrast there between Tonali and Toney was a bit odd. Need some consistency, ideally.
Adnan, and what I meant by big-headed, I mean, I don't think he fit in the Newcastle dressing room. I don't think he would fit the culture of what we've got in that dressing room. And I've seen a few other people agreeing they don't like his attitude, and I don't. And I think he's a cheat. He's a cheat. What he did with the ball yesterday, I think is against the sort of he cheated. He wiped the referee's line off and then sort of tried to get a handful of it and put another little circle there. It was wrong. It's bang out of order, and I don't like players like that. You know, if he hasn't got the talent to score from the original place, then sod him.
It's more about him saying he wants to go to a top club.
Yeah,
which I think after Brentford have backed him, like that's a disgusting thing to say straight away in an interview.
Well, he said a few things about Brentford before in the past as well. So,
all those things aside, though, I mean, we're struggling with FFP and stuff. We're not going to sell Callum Wilson for 10 to 20 million and then try and sign Ivan Toney, who Brentford want at least 80 for.
Yeah, we're not going to pay the money for Brentford that Brentford want anyway, so it doesn't matter. But I just don't. I don't want him at Newcastle. I really don't. I think there's better players for us out there. Decent finisher of the ball, absolutely, but I don't think is. I think we need a dressing room that is coherent and absolutely together. And I think Ivan Toney's the type of player who would rattle that, and I don't think Eddie's that kind of guy. Yes, Barry, I know we've seen other players move the ball for free kicks, but not like that when they've brushed the line away that the referee's made. You know, that's cheating, man. Come on. Billy says, I worked in the newspaper industry doing what was known as pre-press work. My workmates had a saying, and it was, you can't trust anything in a newspaper except maybe the date, but double check that first. Yeah, absolutely. Right, next player is Kone,
who apparently has a different name on FBref to everything else, which has confused me because we all know him as Manu Kone, so it's Coadio Kone. So I'm hoping this is the same guy. It's Mönchengladbach 22-year-old. I think it is. He just obviously has a few names. So we've looked at him before. He was massively linked with Liverpool in the summer, and they went in a slightly different direction. They've rebuilt their midfield, and Kone is still available. So Absolutely, why not? I mean, his contract expires June 2025, which is not that far away. He's on very modest wages at the moment. You know, we double that, probably more. 700 minutes this season with a goal.
A few comments just asking you to zoom in a bit, mate, please.
Zoom a bit more. I can zoom in a bit more. There he is. So I'll have to zoom back out when we go down to the stats, but yeah. So we have reviewed him before, and he's a combative midfielder. And his data for this season is looking really, really, really tidy. So I will scroll down and show you. Again, he's not really a 6. So for anybody who's going to start typing that in, yeah, I know there's the big conversation about maybe we need a better 6 or only 6, but this guy is very different. But in terms of the way he profiles, I mean, this is absurd. His tackle metrics are through the roof, 2.85 tackles per game with an interception and 1.5 blocks per 90. And on top of that, the ball progression is absurd. So he can progress the ball through midfield himself. I mean, his passes is above average, to be fair, 5 progressive passes per 90. But his ball progression with him actually dribbling the ball is very, very high. And then his successful take-on levels is elite at the moment. He's very, very, very comfortable at getting past players, which is a very good skill. 87% passing accuracy is really, really tidy as well. You want somebody who's tidy in midfield. He's in the 78th percentile for that. And in terms of who he profiles like, that's based on 2,000 minutes, by the way. So this absolutely is how the kid plays. He played like that at the back end of last season. We reviewed him in the summer. So he's just a good player. He's been doing this for quite a while now, despite only being 22 years old. So, I mean, Camavinga's number 1 on that list. So that's flattering, extremely flattering. Idrissa Gana Gueye's on there, which is maybe flattering for him. So, and there is a blast from the past there, number 10.
Oh my God!
Yeah, I know, right? Funny.
Let's not sign him. Let's move on to the next player.
Camavinga's number 1.
Well, I know that, but I mean, Nabil Bentaleb is on that list. I mean, that would put the fear of God of anybody.
So he's got good experience, considering he's only 22 years old. 3 years at Toulouse, although the first year he got 1 start. So then he got 11 starts and 24 starts. It was in Ligue 2 in his last season at Toulouse. And then he moved to Germany, and he had 2 complete seasons with them, 26 starts and 30 starts. So he's played a lot of minutes for his age. He's definitely proven himself. The way he plays is definitely the way he plays, and he's got 8 starts and 9 appearances so far this year. We'll have a look at him on SofaScore. So here he is with the other name that I knew him by, which is Manu Kone. So 22 years old, right-footed, 186. What's that? 6'1"? Is he 6'1"? What does
it's a big old unit. I know when I've watched him, he looks head and shoulders above everyone else, I've got to say.
Yeah.
I mean, they say he's just shy of 6 foot, but I could swear 186.
I think he's bigger than that, Alex. I think he's bigger than that. Definitely.
So they're saying that his strengths are positioning, ball control, and tackling. I mean, positioning, I don't know if I've watched him enough to make that assessment, but ball control and tackling, definitely. Recent games, so actually he scored a goal against Wolfsburg in the DFB Pokal. How did they do in this game? So where are we looking? Where is he? Is he not starting? He didn't start. Okay, well, that's useless. He just came off the bench and scored. Let's have a look at the most recent game. Yeah, he played for 9 minutes. Right, so this is the most recent game against Augsburg. So in a 4-4-2, you got Robin Hack on the left as well. He's an interesting player. So Manu Kone in midfield on the left-hand side. So yeah, he's helped out his fullback quite a lot. It does look like Luca Netz had the run around in that game somewhat. So he's had to help him out, but his heat map suggests he's very, very active. He's been everywhere on the pitch. Only played 71 minutes. Reasonably tidy in possession with 84% passing accuracy. 2 key passes, 2 long balls. I'm assuming they're the same thing. The 2 key passes were the long balls. 5 out of 7 ground duels. Again, he's very, very good physically. He's winning most of his ground duels, which is great. 1 foul and 1 was fouled. 4 tackles in that game as well. So you can see what he's about. He's very much a combative midfielder, and he would definitely change and add an extra dimension to our midfield. It's basically like having a Sean Longstaff that can also pick it up and dribble it and beat players. Sean doesn't really have that part of his game. It just gives you an extra dimension. I mean, he dropped to 6.7 in this game. Again, he's very, very... It looks like he does a lot of wide cover, which is nice. Disciplined, helps his teammates out.
Which would appeal to Eddie Howe, wouldn't it? Because looking at the last two heat maps you brought up there, Alex, it seems to me like he's very, very, very willing to come back and help. That may be because Mönchengladbach may be under pressure or whatever it is. It doesn't matter. At least he's willing to show that, which I think is important to Eddie.
No, I agree. Although Foxy just points out that they did lose this game. Was it 2-1? How did the game actually play out?
2-1, Alex.
Yeah, 18 shots to 15. It's one of them. You can't win them all. Right, so he's transfer marked. 11 caps for the French under-21s with 0 goals. So he's got, again, we've just had this conversation. If you get capped by France at any of the youth levels, you're very good. So he does have an agent. We'll have to have a look at that. I haven't checked that. So midfield, central, defensive, attacking midfield. I'd say he's just a ball-winning midfielder with a lot of energy, potentially a box-to-box. He profiles as a bit of both, a ball-winning / box-to-box midfielder. You can pick it up and drive with it. He's got dual nationality with Côte d'Ivoire as well. So until he makes a senior cap, I think he could still play for the Ivory Coast, which is interesting because he's only played, he's not made a senior appearance for France yet. It's only for the youth setup. So he's actually dropped down in valuation slightly. He was rated 40 million in the summer. That was when all the hype around him, from Liverpool was going on. Adidas as well. There you go. That ties in quite nicely. And where has he been? We know that bit. No surprises. ACBB Youth. Not sure who they are. Only started at Paris FC. Obviously, the other club in Paris. There are two. Not many people know there is a second one. They are in Ligue 2.
They're not very good,
unfortunately. Right. So let's have a look at his agency. Do we know anyone? I don't think so. Christopher Wu. I don't think we know anyone in terms of has there been any recent dealings with players on this list with the club.
Hey, Christopher Wu though would be brilliant for a winger, wouldn't he? Every time he took somebody on the crowd, he'd just go woo. It'd be tremendous.
I don't think we really know. I mean, Lenny Lacroix.
No,
nobody on this list.
Stands out, definitely not.
But yeah, Kone. I mean, we've reviewed him before. He's a really, really tidy midfielder, and I think he'd be great. However, we can't just keep signing 8s because at the moment, I would say at least half of our transfer shows we're doing left wingers and 8. We've got a few of them. We should probably look at some different profiles, but it's the players who we keep their link with. So,
well, I mean, exactly. We can't help it. It's what we're being linked to. Mr. Spoonsy and Toon Trader, thank you for your super chat, buddy. He's having a little dig at Tony Tynebridge there, saying you must be related to Kerry Katona with that comment about Warstato. Agree or disagree? Alex talks from the heart and is a class lad. Well, I don't think he was having to go at Alex. I think it was more like he was just sort of saying how impressed Alex is, calling them an alien or absurd. Is Alex's way of describing players. Gallagher Brown, who's been a member for 18 months, says Billing would do a good job for me. Well, I mean, interesting. Billy, Kone, what do you reckon?
No, I'm a massive fan of the lad. And I disagree with Stato in slight bits because he can play as a 6. I've watched him play against Bayern Munich the season before this, beginning of last season. And he ran the show from the number 6. He just swept up everything and monstered through. He did everything. He was a box-to-box and 6 in, and he was just outstanding. And ever since then, I've kept an eye on him. Massive, massive unit of a man. Very good defensively. Very good at controlling the pace of the game. So it'd be an absolute definite for me. Yeah, I'm a massive fan of him.
Yeah, me too. I think, what we have to say is, again, we are looking at these players. Will they be better than what we've got? Yes. So far, the 2 players that we have brought in, that we have, mentioned on this show tonight are better than what we've got. There's no doubt in my mind. It's just, like I said, somebody's just said, can we review Sesko? But he's not linked, so we're not gonna go through Sesko.
I think he has been linked recently.
I did see a link. I've not prepped him for tonight, but
I thought that was I thought that was in the summer. I haven't seen anything for this window
in the past couple of days. Yeah, I saw one.
Really? What, from a decent source or one of these?
I can't remember.
Far out black market internet companies.
I'm not sure it was, but yeah, I was definitely seeing one.
Foxy says, wouldn't be surprised to see Kone go to Bayern in the summer.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Paul Tully says, agree. Let's do a focused show on what we actually need. DM and right winger. We could do that. We could look at and just say, right, well, the positions that we need, who might be available.
I'm already preparing, guys.
There you go. See, Stato's ahead of the game. As usual. Stick Ice says nothing's going to happen in January. Have you travelled? Have you been in the DeLorean to the end of January? Do you know that? Listen, what we've got, all we've got is hope. There's still a little bit left. It's the 21st of January. Time is running out. I think a week and a couple of days, isn't it, till the window closes? I think, it's going to be a very, very interesting week ahead, without a shadow of a doubt, because obviously we've got, we've got Fulham and then we've got Villa away, which is going to be a very tough game. So I don't know, but the sort of backroom staff that need to be doing what they're doing in the transfer window, I'm sure we're trying to work something out. I don't think for 1 minute we're sitting back and thinking we don't need anybody. I couldn't imagine them thinking that. I think it would be madness, absolute madness.
I have a query for the viewers, because I'm sure some of you use FBref. Have we lost the passes under pressure statistic in FBref? Because I can't find it. And if we have, I'm going to be really upset, because that was amazing. Obviously, when Opta took over, we lost the pressures statistic, and now most, to find any running data for, you've got to basically pay a ton of money for software. And I can't find passes under pressure either. Have they gotten rid of that? If anybody uses it, let me know. I mean,
FBref, we give you a lot of publicity, so maybe how about coming and sponsoring our channel, and then we give Alex the keys to the kingdom kind of thing, and we can give our viewers even more. Just a thought, just putting it out there. Email addresses in the description, lads. If you know. Any news about Dan Ashworth leaving for Manchester United? It's not happening, mate. It's not happening. Man United, he's not going.
They've just poached someone from Man City, haven't they?
They have indeed, yeah. I think we need a strong and fast 6 DM, as we're conceding a lot of goals recently. Adnan says Miggy goes to Saudi for 50 million. Good times. Not happening. Evening to Dylan, Susan, John Noble, Man United have a new CEO. Yes, they do. Frost T. Amma, thank you very much for your super chat. Real Madrid are looking for a centre-back. Could wave Botman in their direction, but would need the kind of money needed to get Brathwaite and Onana from Everton.
Or also, no, we just don't do that at all, because Botman's amazing.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want Botman to go.
Mandy, you've made your point numerous times. Alex loves stroking his beard, and we love him stroking the beard, and it wouldn't be the same without him stroking his beard. So behave. Marvin says, honestly, just want us to finish strong and get rid of all these unwanted contracts, then some real quality in the summer and hit the new season running again. I mean, there's a lot of people do, Billy, want to see the back of this season, don't they?
Well, yeah, already. It's been a real bumpy road, hasn't it, with the last kind of 2 months, 6 weeks. So I can understand that, but there's still lots to play for. So I'm not necessarily in that boat at all. I want to see us progress and get up that table and qualify for Europe. And win the cup, of course.
Indeed. Gospel British Isles. There's a username for you. Amen to that. See what I did there. Botman is the future. Indeed. I'm not going to argue with that at all. And Acid says, I'm stroking my beard too because it's calming. Mandy says it's minging. Why is somebody stroking a beard minging? I don't understand that. I think I think you have a problem, Mandy. You need to speak to someone about that. It's a very strange thing to say. It's a beard, and I know from having one just before Christmas, Susan kind of didn't tell me that I looked like a bloody bushwhacker, but it was comforting, and we all need that.
It's only the same as women just playing with the hair and stuff like that.
I thought you were going to say something else there, Alex, and I'm really pleased you didn't. And I would have really not expected you have gone to such such places. Anyway, let's have another. We've got one more player, Alex.
We have indeed.
And it is Amadou Onana.
What's his name?
It's Amadou Onana.
Do.
Anyway, carry on, Alex.
But the fact that you can get a song out of his first name and his surname is just great.
Yeah.
So we have had a little chat about him, but we're going to have another chat because obviously there are rumours about Joe Linton, but they are rumours, just rumours. And obviously long term, we need to upgrade the midfield.
Yeah,
we are going to lose certain players being out of contract. We've obviously had a bit of a midfield scare this season. The profile of most of them are okay, though, with Willock being 23 still. I think Willock's 23, possibly. Yeah, still 23. Anderson's still very young. Tonali's very young. So it's not too bad. So Joe Linton's probably the guy who's aging a bit more. He's at the higher end of his 20s. So I would say, and then do we bring in somebody over the top of Longstaff? Maybe. So there's scope for probably not this window, unless we really do start shifting some players, which you never know. If Trippier goes and maybe one more, who knows who we could bring in. So Onana could be January. I think it's much more likely this would be a summer purchase. And I really
David,
like
you've got no chance of that happening, pal. Not in a million years. Unfortunately for Alex.
So yeah, 22 years old. So really fits the profile. Premier League experience. 6'1", nearly 6'2", physical. He's on very high wages according to Capology at 100k at Everton. So giving him some, considering their financial woes, they're paying him quite a lot of money. Actually contracted until 2027. So he is on a decent contract. We'd have to pay a lot to get him, I think. It wouldn't be a cheap transfer, but I think he profiles really well for what we would need. So if we go down and have a look at how he actually profiles at the moment, you do have to remember this is in the current Everton side and it is a Sean Dyche Everton side. So there is a lot of emphasis on the combative bit here, probably quite direct use of wingers. So his pass completion rate is just above average. He's getting a lot of touches in the attack and penalty area, so he's the big guy to hit up top. And his defensive metrics are very, very good. I do feel like this would be a lot better in a better team. So you've got to take context with that, and you've also got to have watched him play alongside using the data. So if we have a look at who he compares to, you've got Lerma in there, who we've looked at before, Garner as well, who is his teammate at Everton. He's actually being paired with him at the moment. You've got Endo for Liverpool, who is doing pretty well. You've even got Tolisso in there for Lyon, who we have been linked with before. Where else did he play? I don't actually know. Oh, it was Lille, wasn't it? Of course it was. So he's been playing for quite a long time. So senior football, he broke through as an 18-year-old in the Bundesliga, got 14 starts in the second Bundesliga, not the first one, and then got a season at Lille in Ligue 1 with 11 starts, 32 appearances, and then came to Everton. Foxy has just taken the words right out of my mouth, though. This is somebody that we would likely have to overpay for. I completely agree in that regard. He's going to be expensive anyway, based on his profile, his age, and his contract. And then the fact, we'd have to pay loads for him. So how's he actually playing?
Well, then again, I mean, look, we might not get him in the winter, Alex. If that's a summer buy and Everton went down, then that kind of might drop the price a little bit.
Because
you'd
think so, but no, you'd think so. How many times in the last couple of years have we done a transfer show in January and there's been a quoted price or a suggested price, and then we get to the summer and it's still the same price, and we're like, hang on a minute, 6 months have gone past, and they don't care. It's because it's us. When a bigger team comes in, and we're going to have to get used to start to sort of calling ourselves that now because of the financial profile. They're not going to budge on prices. So he's putting in some reasonably consistent ratings. A 7 in the middle of the park in a 4-2-3-1. Very, very active heat map, getting involved as a ball-winning midfielder. Nice and tidy on the ball with 86% passing accuracy. He's pinging a lot of long balls as well, which, again, it's one of the reasons why maybe we could do certain shows. Maybe when we sign a player, we will always do more in-depth stuff data-wise, because on FBref, for example, there is a lot more data than just this. This is his initial data. You can actually go down and look at 100 different units there, metrics. There's loads more you could look at. So long balls there, 5 long balls in that game is quite impressive, especially when they play in Palace. Yeah. So 4 out of 7 ground duels. You'd like him to be winning more aerials considering his height and his physicality. He's managed to get 3 free kicks for his team. Let's go and have a look at a second game. So before that, they played Villa. And of course, we know Villa are very, very good at the moment. So he still dropped to 7.1. Had to go up against Douglas Luiz, John McGinn, and Boubacar Kamara in midfield. So he's had to battle. His heat map is absolutely everywhere. A lot of defensive work. Popped up on the right wing a few times. Less impressive on the ball with his passing. But again, it was a more difficult side to play against. A couple of long balls again. Very, very good physically, 7 out of 11 ground duels. So he looks like he's doing very, very well physically in midfield. I think he's going to be a great player. I think he's already a very decent player, to be completely honest. 9 caps for Belgium. I mean, that's not surprising. That's very complimentary for him. 50 million is his current market value. It's just been going up and up and up and up and up. Who is his player agent? BTFM. We shall have a look at them. So, Be the Future Management, verified since June 9th, 2022. So, who are these? They're a Belgium agency. Okay. 25 players in the books. Do we know anyone? No, not really. Not. I don't think there's anybody that we've dealt with recently in the years since we've had the new owners. No, not really. No. He is their prize asset there, with the next highest valued player on their books being only 3.5 million. So, yeah, I really like Onana. I don't think it would be a January one, and I think he's probably going to be a little bit overpriced. I think there are the players available for a lot less money. I think we could find somebody for 10, 15, 20 million cheaper than this guy. However, we know how likes Premier League experience, so who knows? Billy?
He's one of those players that opposing fans can't stand, but he's a massive favourite of the team he plays for, isn't he? I'd be in for him in the summer. He's a very physical specimen, as we've all seen. I don't see him and Joe Linton playing in the same midfield. So if those horrible rumours about Joe Linton are true, then maybe as a replacement for him, but otherwise not for me.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think for me, I think he's a great player. And I think, when we went to Goodison recently, he was obviously, given some instructions by the manager and he stuck to them. He was very good. But I think he's strong as well. And like you say, I don't want to think of him as a Joe Linton replacement because I'm not thinking about even Big Joe going anywhere. I'm thinking of him being an addition and a very strong addition to our squad for next season.
Chippers has just said something I said last week as well when we talked about him. I could actually see him at like a Man City. I know he doesn't currently look like he's at that level, but I genuinely think he could play for that sort of team. Or that sort of profile of team, possibly. I think he's there. He's not there yet, but I think he could.
Yeah, absolutely. Very interesting. Right, before we go, we'll just give you the results of course, the poll. The question asked to you guys was, it's not, there it is. If we are to lose a player in January, who would you prefer it to be? Trippier, Wilson, or Lascelles? 46% voted Jamal Lascelles. 30% Wilson and 25% Trippier. I'm kind of surprised because I thought Wilson might have come top there because I think Lascelles, stays fit, offers us a bit more at the back as well when we need cover. Wilson, for me, just doesn't play enough. He just does not play enough. And that's the sort of sad thing for me is we know that
Callum's win games and he scores.
Yeah, when he plays, yeah. But we can't rely on him. That's the problem. And I think, when he's sort of back for a couple of games and then he's out for, well, we're initially told a couple of weeks, or it's not serious, and then we don't see him back for 6. It's mental. But it will move forward this week, I am sure. It'll be hotting up towards the end of the transfer window, and we will be, covering everything right for you here on the Toon Review.
Well, I'll tell you what, Foxy's just made a really good point about Lascelles, by the way. Yeah, I noticed that as well.
Yeah.
So Besiktas losing, and obviously they were the rumoured team that he was linked with. So
it will be interesting to see if they do bring him back, bring in the big bid back again, or up the bid, or whatever they want to do with him. But we shall see. He's out of contract this summer, of course, and Billy, you said it makes no point for Lascelles to do it. You know, when he can get a huge signing on fee in the summer for somebody, which is just what he wants towards the end of his career, I would have thought. But you know, it might be very different. He might want to get out on the pitch on a regular basis rather than money. He might be thinking it that way.
I think it'd be his last move. I think. But if Besiktas make it worth his while to move now and obviously throw a bit on top first, then I guess it could happen. But
yeah, well, that's something I could see his agent doing, though, Billy, is going to them and saying, look, if you want him, you know, you've got to make it worth his while because he's a free agent in the summer, of course. Or they could do a deal with him now, to be fair, for him to move in the summer. There's nothing stopping them doing that, but we will wait and see. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, guys. We've got a very busy time coming up, of course. The build up to the Fulham game, the transfer window, the build up to the Villa game as well in the Premier League. So we've got loads of stuff coming up on the channel. So please do, if you are new, make sure you're subscribed and you don't miss out by hitting that notification bell and making sure that you're notified when we upload any recorded videos or we, of course, scheduling our live shows, which is most days every week. We go live in the mornings and evenings as time and family lets us do so. But I should be back tomorrow morning with the morning news show, and we will schedule all the shows in very soon for this week as well, so you know exactly where you're at. But thank you very much for all your super chats and new memberships. Thank you to the mods, to Billy and Alex, and to you out there. Thank you so much. Over 1,200 watching. Absolutely incredible yet again. So thank you very, very much, and we will see you all very soon. Stay safe out there in the weather. But well, you know what's coming up. Billy, take it away.
Away, lads and lasses.
Good night, folks.
Come back and check on some breathing. When I'm untouchable, and you're untouchable, then are you back if you touch it? Show myself and make my day.